What's happening, y'all? DJ Ammbush, Ammbaataa, drums and ammo, checking in with ADP.FM. We here, man. Well, it's funny because this topic kind of came up last week, just saying how do DJs fit in the process of breaking an artist. So I've kind of been thinking about it like every day since that post, and just doing a little bit of research, like as far as like the DJs I grew up with and some of the crews. It feels like where we're at, I feel like the DJs and the artists have always been they've never really melded together. Or maybe at some point, maybe like the mid-90s is when you had like DJ Daryl and DJ Fuse. I feel like we're at a point now where the DJs and the artists are on different paths and we're not really linking up the way we should be. And that kind of takes away from it. You know, you listen to New York DJs and they're so much a part. They've always been so much a part of the productions of, you know, whether it be Biggie Smalls, Jay-Z, breaking artists, Funkmaster Flex, like they're really part of the fabric of music. When Angie Martinez leaves Hot 97, just regular people in the streets, it's affecting them. And I feel like the DJs now, I feel like we gotta make a way to connect with the artists that are putting music out. You know what I mean? Just to kind of get back on in that vein of being the curators, the people that put people on. You know what I mean? And I'll use my one experience of feeling like I was part of a growing movement was the Loonies. Before they did 5 on it, they had 12 inches, or they had an EP that was on a vinyl. And this is when I lived in 707. So we got boxes of these from their manager at the time, and I felt like we actually affected the way that EP was proliferated in the 707. So I feel like that's where we got to get back to that. I know the blog era is a different thing. That kind of took away a lot of that exploration from DJs and them being the ones to put people on. But I feel like right now, if you're a DJ, let's figure out a way to combine with the music that's happening. We're not producing, you know what I mean? Like that gets into DJs, you know, in New York actually producing, then becoming part of the song. Whereas now it's not a lot of that. It's not a lot of DJs being like, I produced this, here goes the product, I'm part of it, I'm DJing parties, I got my homie DJing, so I could give it to him or her, they could rock. So I just feel like it's separated. We need to figure out a way to get it back, you know what I mean? I think it'll be good for the Bay Area and hip hop in general. I got started kind of in the traditional, grew up listening to like the Al Greens and the Earth, Wind and Fires and the Stevie Wonders, hip hop dropped, and it became, you know, you had the choice. You could, you know, as a young kid, you're like, oh, people are rapping, some people DJing. To me, I always gravitated to DJing just because it fit my personality more on, you know, just more laid back, out the way, you know what I mean? Out the way, but then at the same time, I'm able to still control and contribute to the community and family, friends, whoever I'm DJing for. So my introduction was kind of like classic Run-DMC, Jam Master Jay, Jazzy Jeff, cats in that vein, you know, like the DJs that were put on the same pedestal almost as the MC, a rapper. So that's kind of how I came into it. I came in, you know, Eric B. Rakim, just some of the right over the plates, you know. Then of course we had DJs from the West, you know, Rodney O, Joe Cooley, you know, cats in that vein. There's a whole lot of them. I'm not even gonna start trying to ramble off all of them, but Cash Money. Philadelphia always had the crazy DJs. So it was one of the things that just gravitated me, and it became the thing that my family knows me for. It was a way that my family could support me if I need something. If I'm like, hey, I DJ, I'm doing, I got a birthday or Christmas, or that was always the way. Hey, here, go buy a record. Here go a turntable. Cut the grass. Take the bus to Eastmont Mall. Go buy 2 or 3 records. And then move to 707, and then that's when I started actually getting busy, like actually being in the world DJing. I did some out here when I lived in Oakland, but moved to Benicia in '89. So right when the Big Daddy Kanes and all them coming up, I'm out there. So I had my Oakland roots. The soil was here, but actually doing things started in 707. So it was like DJing with like a Mac Dre's DJ, like DJ Cease. He put me on my first gigs in 707. DJ'd for a bunch of cats, Funky Aztecs, Anything Goes. I mean, it goes, did a lot of, just used to like every weekend, every other weekend, doing shows with like E40, In Too Deep, Celly Cell. But which is crazy because when I really started getting kind of my name up was during the blog era. So it was like 2014, 2013 with Sweetbreads, Creative Collective, and Da Vinci and Algia. So I started early, so E40 and them, that's really my class. But as I started moving and actually producing and doing things, it ended up being, I actually kind of came up with like the main attractions and cats in that vein, and but then it gets. I did a lot of stuff with Raphael Sadiq with the homies, Instant Vintage, recorded a lot of that, and then my first real placements were with Wise Intelligent from Poor Righteous Teacher. So it's all over the place. Then my first vinyl, I came out with Tame One from Artifacts, one side, and then I was on the other side. So the DJing led to production, and then the production led to me jumping on the mic and doing shows like that too. So that's a whole different, which in my set will be a lot of my rap stuff too. You know what I mean? So, I have to. I gotta get. You know what I mean? I gotta get on the mic and just sprinkle a little bit. So. I really just only started producing out of necessity, and when I started, it cost $1 million to have somebody, everybody didn't have equipment. If you wanted to record 4 songs, you had to get tape, like we had to buy $75 tapes or whatever it was. It was something crazy, and you only had, 45 minutes or whatever it was. So that was my introduction to production was really just based off of necessity. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna be a producer. It was more like, hey man, we need something to loop up. Let's loop this thing up. Let's find this sample, do some drums, bass line, call it a day. That wasn't, when we started, it wasn't even like I'm producing. It was really like, we just need to get this done. So, I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm sure DJing definitely informs, the way you execute. But, at this point, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence on that. I think especially in this day and age, it's not a prerequisite for you to DJ, you know what I mean? But so, don't be mad at me, I'm just, you know what I mean? The traditional sequence was like, hey, it's Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince. So who's doing the beats? Jazzy Jeff, Eric B and Rakim. Even though Eric B didn't do them beats, we know he didn't do them beats. And neither did Ali Shaheed. I'm sure he sprinkled it in, but it was, that was Q-Tip. So, when you come from that era, that was the traditional, hey, you gotta have but man, that's why, me coming up, as far as like blog era, it makes you kind of have a different perspective where I'm not so jaded into like, oh, this has gotta be, you know, this started in, so this guy needs to do this or this woman needs to, it's like, nah, just get it done. You know what I mean? Just get it done, straight up. So what I'm playing today, I never DJ. I come from, like my influences are like DJ Muggs, like Cypress Hill, real gritty, grimy. But when I DJ, I'm playing house music. You know what I mean? I've evolved all the way. Now I'm like I want to get more into dance music because I was doing clubs, pretty much stopped doing clubs. You know, maybe 6, 7 years ago, like I might get back, but it'll be under my, you know, whatever, my umbrella. But right now when I DJ, it's more dance, a little old school, but more house, more like, you know, more, I just want to, you know, more higher vibration type of junk, you know what I mean? But when I make music, it's different. You know, when I make music, it's more really, it's kind of it's hip hop, you know what I mean? But not that I'm not trying to. I've been trying to get myself in the dance mode. So I got I got one remix I might play today, but yeah, my DJ sets and what I create they're not really locked in. I gotta do that too. I gotta pull them in, you know what I mean? You know, if you DJ clubs, eventually you go, oh, I'm trying to make people dance. So if you're trying to make people dance, typically that's not gonna be, oh, I could just kill a man, but it could be. But where I wanna do dance parties, you know what I mean? I want people to get loose, you know? So those, right now, man, like, there was times when hip hop really provided that, where it provided both, where you can do a dance party and you could still have some of those traditional things that came with like a classic, you know, like Eric B and Rakim, like they had songs that would go off. But at this point, man, it's wild right now. I don't know what. If you're a DJ and you're trying to like play some contemporary hip hop, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it sounds like. You know what I mean? Somebody put me on. Cause I don't know. I think about that a lot. Like if I'm gonna DJ and I'm gonna play some new, you know, Kendrick, I don't even know. Man, like Knowledge, you know, like that's one of the cats that just kind of brought that like remix, oh, I'm gonna take it somewhere else. Whereas you could just, you know, you could remix it. Then, you know, it's a spectrum where you got people doing simple remixes, then you got cats that are really getting intricate with it. So I think he was one of the first ones. I remember the moment too. Like we were in Mexico, walking, stumbled on his playlist. I was like, oh, this cat is doing the remixes that kind of hit the frequency that I would try to jump into if I could get on some remixes. So yeah, man, it's out there, man. Yeah, I'm with it. So Drums and Ammo started as, the name goes back to like the 2000s, really. It goes back to first me, my boys were doing Lucy Pearl. Then they brought me in at the end of Lucy Pearl, and then we started Instant Vintage. And then it was like, hey man, you need to start doing beats, really. So it was like, hey man, get your ass capped, because they're, you know, at this point, they're really like, it's really happening. So I'm looking for a name, for publishing name. Then it was like somebody left the Guns and Ammo magazine in the garage. It's just that simple. I'm always looking for, even wherever I'm at, I'm always just like, oh, you know what I mean? And somebody left the Guns and Ammo magazine. I'm like, boom, oh, okay. You can do whatever you want with guns. Not typically, the thing that I'm rocking with, but we got the magazine. I'm like, oh, cool. So in my brain, I'm like, oh, Ambush, 2 M's, ammo, oh, drums and ammo. That could be clean, the drums, and then me, that's the production thing. So I had it locked in. Then it turned into like, I was like, we're gonna do vinyl. So we started planning on doing a label. No, it started with doing drums. We were gonna do drum sounds. So remember, you could buy like the Alchemist or the Timberland drums. We were gonna do that. Me and the production team that did Lucy Pearl and them, we were just trying to figure out ways. So then we were gonna use Drums and Ammo for that. Then my name ended up being Beat Around the Bush. So it's like Ambush, you know. Then I kept the name, fast forward to 2009 when we started Sweetbreads Creative Collective. And I always kept the name because I thought the name was tight. And I always looked up to like the Bomb Squad, Hank Shockley, Keith Shockley, Public Enemy. And I'm like, oh man, we could use Drums and Ammo for the production team. So it was like REL, Algia, Six Fingers. Like, cool, so we used it for that. Then we started doing merch just for the squad. Then we did a couple South by Southwest. We would do like small runs of the t-shirts with the logo on it. Folks were like, oh man, what's that? Oh, they thought it was something proper. Oh, looks like a clothing line. No, this is the production team. Once we dissolved the label, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna keep the name again, and I'm gonna use it for a platform. Like, you know, because we came from the faders and the pitchforks. Everybody, oh man, we want to get on it. We gotta get on Two Dope Boys. So I'm like, hey man, if we're not gonna keep Sweetbreads going and use it as a platform, I'll just use drumsandammo.com, and then I'll post all the stuff that I'm doing. And I got homies that are in the area. I'm sure I posted you. I'm posted, you know what I mean? Whatever. I posted probably everybody at some point. So it became my platform that I could use to just push out folks that were doing stuff. Fast forward a little bit more, and now it's a production company where we do visual, we do, you know, production, music production, but we do merchandise, and we do design. So it's kind of a all-around media hub, right? And it's located right next door to a production plant that printed these up. You know what I mean? B2B print. So at this moment, it's just production company as well as the blog and something just to push out the things that are in my my network that I'm digging, you know what I mean? So I've been saying this, DJ D Sharp. I've been saying this for, you know what I mean? I guess we'll just do it. This will be like the newest, no, D Sharp, man. First time first time I really rocked with him was for them when we did the tribute to Matthew Africa. And that was the first time I saw him like up close and personal. And I was like, oh, this dude's ignorant. I'm sitting there watching him like, oh man, I don't even, you know, cause some DJs you can tell where they're leaning, like right, left hand. I was like, oh man, I don't know which one is your strong hand, you know what I mean? And when you see that, you know, you remember it. So yeah, man, DJ D Sharp, man, plus these beats beats are crazy out of here. So yeah, man, I could get into the other ones, but I mean, I'll say D Sharp, then I'll get into the, you know, the classics, the JMJs, the Jazzy Jeffs, Cash Money, Tap Money, Joe Cooley, you know, and I'll stop there. You know, we'll do the whole rundown, but yeah. What makes a song perfect for me to play in a set is a sick bridge. Like if you have a bridge that just takes it, like we're here right now, but then if it takes it somewhere else, and you can just feel it, you know what I mean? You can feel it. I feel like I've been, man, DJ Hector though, you know what I mean? Whew. It's cold, like taking you through a journey. You know, I like those DJs that take you, like you hear and you just, like you got a song with a bridge and people are doing their thing, and then it just goes, like, oh man. I got a remix of Ain't Nobody by Jack and Juke, or something like that. Jack and Jukes, Juke, and they did a remix of Ain't Nobody, and it just, man, that thing's just, I mean, I'm start trying to, yeah, man, they got a remix of Ain't Nobody. Ain't nobody that would better make me happy. Man, whoo! Yeah, they got one of those bridges that just, yeah, man, so that's the one I think about when I think of bridges, you know what I mean? What I'm gonna play today is, man, it's 99.9 all Ammbaataa. Production, raps, and I was gonna kind of get into like, oh, you know, some of the things that I recorded, but I didn't want to get that, you know, I didn't want to get that like detailed, you know, oh, I recorded the vocals on this song. And so no, these are mostly, yeah, man, mostly songs I produced. They got one that Tico produced from the artist Hamza. He's a, you know, DNA family linked in. So I'm gonna play that, which is on Drums and Ammo rec recordings. You know, we put out music. So I'm gonna play that one by Hamza, but basically it's me on the beats, me on the raps, and there's one that I rap on with the Jacka, you know what I mean, and Main Attractions and Da Vinci, you know, so I'm keeping it. This one is gonna be one that I'm keeping it for the folks that have any interest in the things that I've been doing. You'll be able to get a nice little sampling of the production that I've been stacking up for the years, you know what I mean? So I don't know, you know, like I said, I never even mixed these. So some of this might not be, this might just be, I'm gonna mix a couple, but then some I'm gonna just, I'm gonna just let them fly, you know what I mean? What's happening, y'all? DJ Ammbush, Ammbaataa, Drums and Ammo, alldayplay.fm. Check it out, we here.